What's up guys, you're back with TechNick, and today I have another speed test for you, but this time between the Oppo Ace2 and the Realme X50 Pro. The Oppo Ace2 is the latest Snapdragon 865 processing chip phone around. I have the 8GB of RAM version with that wonderful 90Hz refresh rate panel. The Realme X50 Pro also has a 90Hz refresh rate panel, Snapdragon 865 processing chip, and I also indeed have the 8GB of RAM version. Here are the hardware specs of both phones. Feel free to hit pause here for more information. We have updated them to the latest software. ColorOS and Realme UI are very similar. 90Hz displays on both devices over here. We're going to be enabling high performance mode on both of the phones over here, and we have left animations on both of them at 1x because of your recent results in my poll. Round 1 will be about boot and facial recognition as well as fingerprint. Round 2 will be about initially opening up app speed. Round 3 will be about RAM management. We have GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner, so keep your eyes out for that one. Guys, this is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to start out here with round 1, which consists of a boot, a face unlock, and fingerprint unlock. 15 seconds to boot up the phone on the X50 Pro as opposed to 19 on the Ace2, giving it its first point. When initially showing up app icons, the X50 Pro takes its second point there in round 1. Now we're going to go ahead and test out the fingerprint unlock over here. The Oppo was very close to the Realme X50 Pro, but in the second round it actually did slightly better, so it got its best 1 out of 3 over there, getting it its first point in round 1. Same can be said with facial recognition. The Oppo gets its best 2 out of 3, getting its second and final point in round 1, making it a tie for round 1. Going into round 2 over here, we opening up the camera app, which was very similar. The Oppo Ace2 actually took the photo and switched the camera to the front camera slightly faster than the X50 Pro there. Opening up photos, the Oppo Ace2 did that slightly faster. Calculator was very similar over there. System apps are going to be similar since Realme UI and ColorOS are practically the same software over here, just kind of rebranded, since Realme is pretty much a baby of Oppo, which is actually under the same company, BBK Electronics. Now we're going to test out an internet speed test over here. The Realme opened it up quicker, getting it its first points over there. We have sped things up here by 800% just so that we can work out the seconds over here. 29 seconds for the Ace2, 34 seconds for the X50 Pro. So the Ace2 was 5 seconds quicker there, getting its fourth point in round 2. Opening up Spotify, things were a little bit wonky over there, but I did slow the clip down a lot and things were very similar. If you guys are new to the channel, I slow the clip down repeatedly to see which one is allocated a point. If there is just 1 or 2 milliseconds between the two devices, then I don't allocate a point there whatsoever. But if it is obvious, then I do. The Oppo Ace2 saved the photo from Photoshop Express there slightly quicker than the X50 Pro. And opening up our project in Adobe Rush over here, the Oppo Ace2 opened up the app and the project slightly quicker than the X50 Pro. This is becoming a humiliation for the X50 Pro so far. We're going to be shooting a 4K 25 frames per second clip down to 1080p, compressing it and then exporting it using Adobe Rush here. And the Oppo was just 0.5 seconds quicker, but we had to get a win over there since it was about exporting a clip. Very similar there since they both have UFS 3 storage. Now 9 points for the Ace2 as opposed to 1 point for the X50 Pro. Opening up Astral VPN, the Ace2 took it once again there. They both turned it on pretty similarly. We actually need a VPN here in China in order to get into these wonderful social media apps, which we are indeed opening up now. 11 points on the Ace2 as opposed to 1 point on the X50 Pro. Things were very similar when opening up Instagram and Twitter. It's slightly different when we do go ahead and open up YouTube. The X50 Pro actually takes its second point now in round 2. Now only just 9 points behind that of the Ace2. Going into my channel over here, the Ace2 opens that up quicker. And going into one of my speed test videos, you guys should go check this out if you haven't already. OnePlus 8 Pro against the S20 Ultra. But nevertheless, the X50 Pro did open up that video slightly quicker than the Oppo Ace2. Going into Netflix over here, things were very close, but the Oppo Ace2 was obviously opening it up slightly faster there. But going into a profile over there, all of them, well, both of the devices opened them up very similarly. Opening up Chrome, the X50 took it, and going into our first game here, which is Subway Surfers, the Ace2 grabbed it there by a hair of a second after, but it was an obvious given point there. Our next game here takes a little bit longer to load. This is Flip Diving, really fun game here. The Oppo Ace2 opens that up slightly faster, and our next game of the bunch, which takes a lot longer to load, so we do speed things up a little bit, is Temple Run 2 over here. If you guys haven't noticed already, we have a percentage time at the bottom right hand corner over there, and we have GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner, and underneath that a countdown timer to the next round. The X50 Pro surprisingly opened up Temple Run 2 faster than the Oppo Ace2 over here, and now we're going to go into our longest loading, most graphics intense game of the bunch here, which is PUBG Mobile. I'm sure most of you guys play it. 17 seconds for the Ace2 as opposed to 21 seconds for the X50 Pro, so the Ace2 grabs its 16th and final point in round 2 as opposed to 5 points for the X50 Pro. They both have 8 gigs of RAM here, so going into round 3 where it's all about RAM management, things should be pretty similar over here. Opening up 20 apps should be easy even for a 4 gig of RAM phone over here, so it shouldn't make much of a difference even if we had different RAM variants here. But we do have 8 gigs of RAM across the board here, and they opened and shut certain apps all together at the exact same time over here. Just sped through this 250% to show you guys that the RAM management of the phones are pretty much on par. Total points here, 18 for the Oppo Ace2 as opposed to 7 points for the Realme X50 Pro. I'm really impressed with the Oppo Ace2 since the Realme X50 Pro is an absolute beast. I really like the Ace2 and I couldn't recommend it more than any other current budget-friendly flagship around. Guys, this is TechNick and I'll see you in the next one.